I suppose, you know, we knew what to expect, so we knew what the long journeys and everything else. But you know, the last time around was a bit of a test as well, in a way, to find out if we could do it. And you know, this is proof now that we can do it. We do it again, and we'll do it again in the future.
Yeah, it seems to be a very happy way for everybody to working. I mean, besides obviously the time.
Yeah, there's plus and minus points in the sense that, you know, we can't get the whole show in, you know, because obviously we can't get everything physically in the plane, the big stuff. But in some places like Mexico and places like that, you know, we're able to ship the stuff out. Yeah. You know, that we've got plenty of time in advance to get stuff there. So some places have got the big show, full show, and some haven't. But it was just try. That's all you can do, you know. That is the downside, if there is a downside.
And you have a bit of a compadre on this trip. Mr. Jeff Daniels is travelling with you.
Yeah, well, he was. Not a lot of people know this, but he was actually one of the original roadies with Maiden. You know, right in the first sort of part of the band when we first got together, in the first year or so of the band, and so you know, things go full circle, and here he is again. He's not really in a roadie this time around.
Well, obviously, I think it's a little bit different. I mean, as you say, he's not working as such. He's more of a guest on this, but
well, he's helping out with a few bits and pieces, you know, because you don't want to get him bored, do we? But yeah.
But I mean, it's a bit different than the Green Goddess. Was that his sort of time, the famous Green Goddess?
Not really. He was even before that, really. He was really right from the start. Right. Really, the first sort of year of the band, first year, 18 months.
So it was a bit more gear to shift these days, possibly.
Yeah, just a bit, yeah.
Well, moving on. Flight 666 movie. The people out there obviously seen the little short trailer. They haven't seen the full sort of trailers yet in the cinemas and stuff. Now, you've seen the pretty much definitive version, barring a couple of tiny minor changes just before Christmas. How do you feel it sort of captured the essence of the tour?
Yeah, I think it captured it really well. I think they've done a great job. I mean, they've done a great job in the sense that I didn't have to come in and sort it out. I didn't have to complain too much at all. I mean, well, you know, there was a few little things that I asked them to change, which they were quite good enough to change, but minor stuff really. I mean, you know, quite often these things I have to come in and think, oh God, I have a few months of sorting this out. But no, they were really good, and they, really got their stuff together, and they had a good bit of help from in behind the camera there.
Yes.
And so it was great.
Obviously, cameras around all the time. I mean, me and John are one thing, but we try and keep it
one thing.
Yeah. We try and keep it away from you as much as possible, except for on these occasions.
Don't tell Paul. Wow, rubbish. But no, actually, it was. I mean, I suppose on this part of the tour, that's one of the plus points of not having a camera in your face all the time. Every time we get on and off the plane, we're here all over the place and everything like that. But I must admit, I was a bit gutted, but I was really ill on that part of the tour, and so I didn't look and feel too clever.
When you did your interview?
Well, the interviews and the whole first 2 or 3 weeks, really, I was ill, so
I remember, I think Rod made some joke about, well, you'll see this obviously in the movie, but he made some joke about eating curry after a gig or something, or catering.
He wasn't
curry,
being
chilly, wasn't
it? I think a lot of people were ill, but I was really one of the worst ones. But I think everyone just got ill, and I blame the plane food myself.
Yes, it was. I was actually one of the two people who didn't get ill.
The food in India was fine. It was actually, the plane food that went on the plane from there. So. And everyone seemed to get ill who had the same stuff that I had.
Oh, there you go.
That's my theory.
Well, Nico was complaining he had a pizza in his hand in virtually every shot. He's always talking about the cheese.
Maybe I should have eaten pizza. I probably would have been all right.
Well, talking about Nico, I don't know, how could you not talk about the film without talking about Nico? He appears a lot, and he always seems to be the Joker and going a bit nuts. I mean, do you think that pretty much sums him up? Is that a true representation?
Yeah, I mean, he should be a chat show host or a stand-up comic or something, or both. I'm sure it's, when we sort of hang our boots and guitars up, I'm sure that's what he'll do.
I think you said something about you let him go into a room and then you clean up the mess.
Well, exactly, yeah. Just wind him up, send him in, boom, it's like sending in the ground troops.
Yeah. Well, on the audio side of things, on the actual music side of things, you work with Kevin on the mixing and that kind of stuff. And how did that go? Yeah, I mean
that's another thing. I got off the plane after a really long flight and went straight down here. So again, I was looking a bit rough, but around the edges. But there you go. You have to do these things. But Yeah, I mean, I get on really well with Kevin. It's great, working with him and everything like that. And I'll just go in and sort of tweak a few bits and pieces here and there. And he's really amenable with that sort of stuff. We work really well together.
Yeah. Well, I think you must obviously your working relationship has been since what 2000,
2000, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you both know each other's sort of little foibles and the way you
I
do
think,
things and what you expect.
The initial album we did with him, there was a bit of that going on, and then I think that everyone sort of knows how each other works now, and it's just sort of I wouldn't say it's plain sailing because nothing ever is, but it's a good working relationship, definitely. Yeah.
And this was his new.
He's good fun to work with as well. He's got a good sense of humour, so.
Yeah, well, yes.
And you need that when you're stuck in the studio for hours on end, so.
Well, this was his new studio, I believe, in Malibu, was it, or?
No, it was a different studio. It's not his studio, but it is a new studio, yeah, but not actually his. But he's got his own mixing facility in his house now, which I haven't seen.